blog post, I am choosing to discuss a very serious topic. That is how I learned the meaning of Tinder. So before I go into that, I'm just going to backtrack for a second and explain that when you grow up in an immigrant household, especially a Muslim immigrant household, you're kind of always 5 steps or more behind pop culture. So, for instance, growing up, 90210 was banned in my house because my parents just thought it was a glorified condom ad because of how often safe sex was randomly a part of the plot line. You know what my mom would say? She would say, "You know what is safe sex? No sex." Then she would like change the channel to Three's Company or something, I don't know. But anyway, you're always 5 steps behind anything that's popular, whether it's clothes or whether it's pop culture or anything like that. So I'm kind of still behind in some ways, you know, sure, like, I mean, I'm with it in certain regards, but then in other regards, I still don't know how to pronounce Rihanna? So anyway, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I still don't know what the point of Snapchat is. And I also thought Maroon 5 for the longest time was actually Moron 5, although I don't feel as bad about that one. So anyway, sometimes when I see youths just kind of around and about in the city, I kind of hover near the youths, not like in a creepy way, but you know, just because sometimes I want to pick up on the informational nuggets that youths today have to offer. So recently I was standing near a bunch of youths by my gym, and I could tell that they were like the cool youths because they had like that miserable expression on their face that only being like popular gives you. So I was standing by these youths and they kept talking about things that like I didn't know anything about, like some movie that had cancer patients that fall in love and die, which is what a bummer. And then like something called Turning Down for What? No. And then they kept saying this word Tinder. Now, I'd also heard this word Tinder used on my own social networking news feeds. So, meaning that whatever these youths were talking about was relevant even for my generation. So of course I tried to pick up on what the youths were saying, but I was pretending to have a conversation on my phone with myself so as to not appear creepy, and the conversation was pretty loud. So I couldn't tell what they were saying, but I came to the very logical and sound conclusion that Tinder is just how we say tender now. Because let's face it, millennials, we love to misspell things. I mean, when was the last time you actually texted your friends and spelled something correctly? Like, that's so lame. Like, why would you spell something correctly? Why would you use proper grammar? No. Right? So I thought Tinder meant this is how we say tender now. So I went around using Tinder, my new sexy fresh knowledge, all over the place without prejudice. So for instance, I went to a coffee shop and I told the barista that I felt really tender about the extra chocolate in my mocha, and the barista looks at me with this sort of incomprehensible expression on his face and says, "I have a girlfriend." I didn't know why he said that, I just wanted more chocolate. So then later that week, I posted on Facebook saying that I felt really tender about the rising cost of tuition. And this girl posted, and she's like, we have very different political views, and she posted like, wow, that makes no sense. See, now I thought she meant that I was not allowed to have views on federal rates or whatever, but you know, all she said was, that makes no sense. And then I had like no other likes or any comments on this video, which I thought was a surefire crowd pleaser, but I guess not. Then sometime after that, a friend of mine texted me and said that she had a really bad day at work, and I said, "Oh, are you feeling really tender about your emotions?" Yeah, she didn't respond at all. So I was using this awesome new slang everywhere, but I wasn't quite getting the response that I wanted. So then I was hanging out with my friend Craig, and he said, I told him that I found an especially tender cut of meat. And of course, Craig said, well, what do you mean, the meat was sexy? And I said, no, it was just a really tender cut of meat, you know, tender. Tender's how we say tender now. It's 2014, it's how we say tender now. And Craig said, do you know what Tinder means? And I said, yes, it's how we spell tender now. And he proceeded to tell me that apparently Tinder is a hookup app that people use. And be that as it may, but why were these youths talking about the Tinder app? They were like 22 to 24, they were babies, basically. They were children, babies, and yet they were talking about this hookup app. I, for one, was very distraught over it. At first I didn't believe Craig, but then he showed me, and there was like all these pictures of dudes looking for a FWB, which I think means friends on the WB channel, as in like the television show. and they're talking about how they were DTF, which I'm pretty sure means Downton Abbey fans, but they abbreviated it to Downton. So anyway, that's apparently what Tinder means. So in conclusion, don't go around telling people that you feel Tinder about your emotions, because apparently it's a hookup app. And, you know, it could be that if you are coming from a similar background as I am, where, you know, you're always 5 steps behind pop culture, this is good information to know. So, yeah, don't do that. Tinder's a sexual app. So anyway, if you liked this article, please feel or blog post, please feel free to share. There's information down below on where you can find the blog post. So I wrote an actual blog post about the same issue, so you can find that down below. Please feel free to share, like us on Facebook, and all of that good stuff. So thanks for coming by, and I will never again tell anyone how I feel Tinder about my emotions.